Well, it's a machine that's been growing in popularity in the UK, the Rutus Alta 71. I've had it for quite a few months now, probably about 8 or 9 months, and it's definitely become my go-to machine. In fact, I don't use anything else other than the Rutus Alta. So I thought I'd just have a little walkthrough or a little talk through my settings on the machine and the way I use it to get the best of it. But it is a fantastic machine. I mean, I've had hammer coins, Roman coins. You know, you've got to be on the right land, or you know you're not going to find anything regardless of what machine you're using. But I really do think that the Rutus is a very, very capable machine. Doesn't matter if it's pasture, ploughed. It even does okay on wet sand at the beach. Brilliant machine. But anyway, let's take a look. Okay, so we're taking a look at the Rutus Alta 71 machine. Retails for £595. Available in the UK exclusively through Detecnics. So we'll turn the machine on, and after the introductory menu, we're asked to ground balance the machine. Well, I'm going to skip that for now and go to factory preset by pulling the trigger. Now, the machine has the ability to operate on 71 different frequencies, hence the name Alta 71. As far as I'm aware, there is no other machine on the market that offers that. So let's have a look at what we can do with the machine. So by pushing enter, we're taken to sensitivity. And as with any machine, you run this as high as you can. If the machine's unstable, you notch it back down. I've been using the 71 for a while now, and I tend to find somewhere between 70 and 80, 85. The machine stays pretty stable. And then we go to discrimination. So again, I take out iron up to the start of foil. I find that just gets rid of nails and stuff like that, but you can adjust that up and down using the arrow keys. But I find around about 28 is right for me. And then we go into the menu page. So the menu is broken down into 3 subcategories: so engine, audio and screen. So starting with engine, we have frequency, and that can be adjusted down in increments of 2, right the way from 4.4 kilohertz up to 18.4 kilohertz, I think it is, at the top end of the scale. So essentially, ultimately, your lower kilohertz are for finding your deeper targets, but the whole machine will run slower if you do that, and you'll also get less accurate target discrimination. And your higher frequencies are for finding your smaller targets closer to the surface, but generally running somewhere between 14 and 16 kilohertz is where you're going to want to be. So hot rock, to be honest, I've used the Rutus quite a lot. I've never needed to take it out of neutral, but the option is there if you want to adjust your hot rock settings either up or down. Never ever needed to touch it. And reaction, again, the machine is fast. It's really fast, even on a reaction of 3. You can up reaction as high as 8. I don't know that you never need to, but the option is there. But I tend to leave reactivity set on 3. It's fast enough for anything that you're going to need to do with the machine. And then masking. So iron masking, which is kind of like, it's a difficult one to understand. It's almost like a discrimination within a discrimination. So if you were in, say, an area that had loads of nails or something like that, you may want to alter your iron masking, but otherwise I've never needed to adjust it. It sits at 2 and it stays at 2. So we go from engine to audio. So we got threshold level there. Now the threshold I usually have set at around about 5, just so you get a little bit of a buzz from the machine. If you have it in 0, you're essentially operating the machine in dynamic mode. Anything above the machine will operate on dual mode, so it'll give you more information about the size and depth of your targets. You've got your threshold zone there and your threshold sensitivity. Now a VCO, this one I like to have on. It's set as off as a preset in the machine. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, maybe somebody could tell me in the comments, but I don't really know why you would have VCO off. So my understanding is that the VCO increases the accuracy and the varying audio pitches for your target identification, and makes it a lot easier to pinpoint your targets. I don't understand why that would be ever be on no, in all honesty. And your audio gain, I have mine at 35, and that is enough for me to get an idea of the depth of the targets. Just gives you more information about the size and the depth of the target. If you had it all the way up, so you could push it all the way up, not sure how high it goes, I think it maybe goes to 80. It goes to 60. Okay, but if you had it right up at 60, you could lose some of your deeper targets. So I like to have my audio gain set at around about 20, and that does the job for me. Volume, that's just the volume of the machine. I've set it on 1 now because this is quite trashy ground. Volume you would normally have at 30, and then adjust your headphones as you need to if you're using them. And tones, so a really big assortment of tones. I like Relics 3. And in wireless, your wireless headphones, don't have them, don't know how it works, but I assume it's probably fairly self-explanatory in all honesty. Your threshold level, again, that is the hum that you will get from your threshold. Depends on your own ears, I guess, but I'd leave it at 5. For me, that's fine. And your threshold tone, 156 for me, but again, you can adjust that as you want. Doesn't affect the functionality of the machine in any way at all. So we go from there to screen backlight. That's the light. It's on 29, so it picks up on the camera for me, but you can adjust that up or down. Obviously, higher backlight will cause quicker battery drain. Now this one's pretty cool, ID type. So this is if you adjusted the frequencies on the machine, then your target ID on a lot of machines will change. What ID type does is it keeps the same ID regardless of the frequency that you are running. So if you had that set at real, it'd be a really complicated machine to use. So I'd recommend that it's set to 12 kilohertz. And the whole time is just the amount of time that your target ID is displayed on your screen. So actually that was at 5, but I prefer it at 3 seconds because I quite frequently hunting trashy ground and I want a live update. I want it to be able to keep up as much as possible with the targets that the coil is swinging over. And language, English or Polish. Well, I can't speak Polish, so I'll leave it on English. So that is essentially the entire set of menu options available on the Rutus Alta. And you do have preset programs, so coins, basic, big silver, deep and ultra deep. That's going down in kilohertz. But to work our way up in kilohertz from basic, we have coins, fast and ultra fast. So as I said, as a rule, well, it's not a rule, it's a fact, the higher kilohertz will be better at picking out shallower targets from trashy ground, and your lower kilohertz will be better at picking up deeper targets. But as a consequence of that, you will lose some discrimination. So I mean, I think the Rutus Ultra is a fantastic machine. I don't think there's another machine available for £595 that offers anything like what the Rutus Ultra offers. Yeah, so this is the machine. It's very well constructed, very solid design and build. And what I would say for me is I've used a lot of different machines actually. The Rutus is definitely my favourite of the lot. The Deus, I can't say too much about the Deus because I have used the Deus. I've used the Deus quite a few times, but only for kind of a week at a time. So I've used it for a week, given it back. You know, I had a break of a few months, used it for a week, given it back. So I'm not saying the Ultra is better than the Deus, but I am saying that a lot of the hunts I do will be out there with a Deus user. And you know, when you get one of those faint signals in the field and your buddy says, you know, before he digs it, he says to you, come along, you know, see what you think of this, what do you make of that? I've never ever swung the coil of the Rutus over a target that's been picked up by a Deus and not picked it up with the Rutus, which I think for a machine that costs £595 for 2 coils, it says quite a lot, in all honesty. I think Rutus have excelled with the design of the Ultra. I think the price point is lower than it should be, but it had to be because nobody knew who Rutus were. You know, you couldn't put £1,000 machine up against up against known £1,000 machines, because people will stick with what they know. But I honestly believe that the Rutus Ultra is at least £1,000 machine in its capability.